Hello, I am Dean Radin, Chief Scientist at the Institute of Noetic Sciences and Principal Investigator for the SIGIL experiment. This short video is an introduction to this experiment. SIGIL is an acronym for a scientific investigation of the role of gazing with intuition at light. Gazing with intuition means seeing not with the eye, but with the mind's eye, intuitively or by the imagination. Sigil is also a word for an esoteric magical practice that involves creating a symbol for an intention or a goal that you wish to happen. The goal for this study is to investigate the quantum observer effect, which refers to a curious property of quantum mechanics in which observing or measuring a quantum object, like a photon, changes the behavior of that object. In oversimplified terms, this suggests that something about consciousness may play an important role in the physical world. Another video on this website goes into more detail on the background and scientific studies that are exploring this idea. Let me just say in summary that there is substantial, independently repeated empirical evidence collected over the past century and published in scientific journals that supports the idea that this mind-matter interaction effect is quite real. The effects tend to be very small in absolute magnitude, and they can be quite variable from one person to the next. But this is not uncommon when studying the leading edge of the life sciences, and especially when it comes to human behavior. So these kinds of studies require a great deal of data and statistical evaluation of the results. But again, when the existing studies are analyzed, the preponderance of the results suggest that consciousness interacts directly with aspects of the physical world. This experiment then has two main goals. The first is to explore if focused attention and intention can in fact cause a measurable change in the behavior of light. This experiment is important because it addresses a long-standing problem in mainstream physics, which I've already mentioned as the quantum observer effect. We know it's a problem because there are multiple interpretations of this effect, and while some may insist it has nothing to do with consciousness, that conclusion is not supported by a growing body of experimental evidence. The second goal is to recruit people with certain skills or talents. We're doing this recruitment process through 4 phases or steps. The first step is the one you're looking at right now. We're casting a net worldwide to invite adult candidates who can understand and read English to fill out questionnaires that ask about you, your personality, your beliefs, and experiences. Previous studies show that these factors are predictors of how well people can perform in these kinds of experiments. We're especially interested in people who have experience and engage in practices that are designed to enhance the ability to focus attention and intention. This would include meditators, martial artists, or other athletic styles that require exceptional mental control and one-pointed attention. It could also include Wiccans, neo-pagans, witches, and others engaged in magical rituals and practices, especially the use of sigil magic. Those who spontaneously or through intense practice have also learned to exercise one of their or more psychic abilities, like clairvoyance, would be additional good candidates. In that sense, the ideal candidate would be a long-term meditator who practices sigil magic and can exercise clairvoyance at will. After analyzing the results of these questionnaires, we'll invite promising candidates to go on to step 2, which will be a series of performance tests. These are standardized online tests that measure the degree to which you can control focused attention. In step 3, the top 100 people selected from step 2 will be invited to a Zoom call, one person at a time, by members of the ION science staff. The purpose of that call is to describe the experiment in enough detail for you to decide if this is something you're really motivated to do, because it will take at least 7 hours of your time over the course of 1 month. We also want to be sure that you're serious because we'll be sending you an optical system that was custom made for this study and which will be the physical target for this mind-matter interaction study. You'll be able to keep the device for your experiments afterwards, or you can send it back to us if you wish. But it requires that you have an up-to-date PC or Mac computer, a quiet place to do the experiment, and a convenient access to the internet. Like, this experiment should not be attempted by using the Wi-Fi at a McDonald's or a Starbucks because it's far too noisy and busy. The final step will involve our selecting 50 individuals who we judge from the 3 previous steps to be most likely to be successful in this experiment. In this short video, I'm going to say a little bit about the optical system that we built for this experiment. So first of all, we design it and then create a special printed circuit board to hold the electronics. And when the circuit board is filled with the electronics, it looks somewhat like this. This is a laser, diode laser, a number of very sensitive optical sensors, and a whole bunch of other sensors on this thing. The sensors are then covered by this shield. Everything in the final version is painted flat black to reduce reflections, and the shield to reduce external light that may creep into the box. When the box is put together, it looks something like this. I've also made versions that are covered with copper foil and others with mu metal to block magnetic shield or magnetic fields. And there's a LED light here that changes colors depending on how well you're doing, because there's immediate feedback on how well you're doing. There's a light over here which tells you that the power is connected, and this is a USB connection that would go into your computer. So when we mail something like this to you, you'll get the box, you'll get you'll also get a few other things which I'll mention in a second, but we'll provide a cable that will go into your PC using this standard USB-A type connections, the large kind of connection. We'll send the software in the form of a memory stick, which will work in a Windows computer, a modern up-to-date Windows computer, and also a modern up-to-date Mac computer. I've also used AI to create this little sigil with this all-seeing eye in it as a reminder of this is all about not the physical eye, but your mind's eye in the experiment. And so this is a sticker. You can stick it on the box or anywhere else that you may like. And I'll also include this little laughing Buddha statue that you can put on top of the box to remind yourself that the attitude that it takes to do this kind of experiment, or almost any kind of psychic experiment, is one of lightheartedness. You don't want to spend, you don't want to grunt and groan at the box here to get the results that you're looking for. It's best to keep the effortless striving sense. You're certainly applying effort because there is a task at hand, but it should be effortless. So you strive with no effort. It sounds like a paradox, but that's the kind of state that seems to be best in order to do these kinds of tasks. When you plug this in and run the computer, it will instruct you on how to use your intention and your attention. So there's 10 minutes of control period, which I'll show in a different video what that looks like. And then 30 seconds where you intend at the box to get the feedback that you want to get. And then 30 seconds where you send your attention elsewhere. So it's 30 seconds towards, 30 seconds away, and that goes back and forth for 20 minutes. So the whole thing, a single session, is 20 minutes long, and the experiment requires 15 of these sessions. The 15 sessions are used because the first 5 are to gain pilot data. I need pilot data from each one of the participants in order to pre-register the prediction about the results that we're going to get when we do the 10 formal sessions. So 15 sessions is 7.5 hours worth of time. You should expect to do this usually only 1 session per day. Maybe you do 1 practice session and 1 formal session, but you don't want to burn yourself out. And it's pretty easy to do that when you do these kinds of experiments. So you would plan in advance over the course of 1 month, or about 30 days after you receive the box, to do 1 or 2 practice sessions, and you'll get the idea very quickly. And then prepare. So when you do a half-hour session, you have 10 minutes while it's doing a calibration session. And during that time, you can meditate, you can use a sigil, you can charge a sigil, you can do whatever you need to do in order to get into this mental state over the next 20 minutes where you really just one-pointed attention toward the device, towards the optical system, or 30 seconds away. So that's the nature of the task.